All right. What's good, everybody? This is Ryan Johnson with MoneyBass.com. All right, guys, it is time for another one. We're going to get into it tonight, guys. Have a good time as always and talk about another kind of hot topic that's going around, guys. So I know a lot of you have already seen the thumbnail and the title to the video. So we are going to get into that. As you guys come into the into the live stream, please just hit the one in the comment section. Just let me know if you guys can hear me okay, see me okay. Just want to make sure the audio's good, video's good, all that good stuff. And then we will go ahead and get right into it as always, guys, and see who we have checking in for tonight. All right, so let's see. Let me just double check that. All right, so that's looking good, sounding good. All right, we have some people checking in. All right, some people coming back to the live stream. It's going to be kind of an interesting topic, guys. And as always, make sure you get active down in the comment section. And also, okay, so I see a 1 in the chat, so that means you guys can hear me okay. Everything is looking good, sounding good. And also, tell me, can you hear this sound right here? Did anybody hear that sound? If anybody heard that sound, just tell me what sound you just heard. Just want to make sure that the soundboard and everything is working pretty good. Let me go ahead and hit it one more time. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Did anybody hear that sound? Okay, so you're not hearing that. So let me change this up just a little bit and go with it right here. Just want to make sure everything is set up for you guys, so we can get into it, make sure we have a good time tonight, and also, discuss a few different topics. And also, another thing we're going to do tonight, guys, is the How Would You Fish It segment. That is something that we generally do on Wednesday nights. It would be a video that I would pretty much upload. But tonight, what we would do, guys, is try to do that on the live stream. So I have some footage that I will pull up. And we'll do that after we get into the main content of this video for tonight. But right after that, we will get right into the How Would You Fish It section, where I will pull up a video clip of me actually out on the water. And today's footage will be some actual tournament footage, and it will be the electronic screen, show you what I was looking at while I was out on the water, and ask you guys, how would you fish it? And I will go over some baits and everything and show you guys how I actually fished it and some alternative baits that you can use. So I think that might be a little interesting. All right, so let's see. Let me just see if I have this set up now. See if you guys can hear this audio clip. Let's see. Hear the soundboard. Let's see. Let me see. Did that come through? Hold on one second. Let me check one more thing, guys. All right, there we go. Did you guys hear that audio? I don't think that came through, but just let me know if you guys heard that that little snippet that came through right there. Let me try one more thing. Okay, so you guys did hear that audio. Hold on. Let me try one more time, guys. Just bear with me, guys. A little bit of struggle streaming, but like I said, I just want to make sure I get everything set up for you guys. All right, so you guys tell me if you can hear this sound right here. And I just want to make sure it's not coming through from my headphones also. Let's see. All right, so you guys did hear that. If you did hear it, just in the comments type the sound that you heard. What is that sound? Let me do it one more time. All right, so it is still not coming out. Let me just try one more thing, guys. And if it doesn't come through, then that's fine. We'll go ahead and push through anyways. Let me just check one more thing. Got that set up. And let's see. It's always a little something going on over here, guys. Just have to get things set up for you. Okay, so it looks like we're not going to get the soundboard for tonight, guys, but that shouldn't really stop anything. We can still come through and have a good time. So let's see who we have checking in for this evening. We have, let's see, we have Maggie, the substitute teacher. All right, hit me up with the one. Let me know everything is looking good, sounding good. Really appreciate you coming back and checking out the live stream. We have Hudson Logan Fishing. All right, really good to see you. Good to have you back into the live stream. We have Triton Jones. Okay, you guys were confirming that you could not hear the soundboard, but that's all right. We'll push through it. We'll push through it. All right, Anthony Trice, good to have you in. Good to have you checking into the live stream. Deshaun Peck, what is going on? I see you dropping some new footage out there on your channel. All right, good deal, and always active in the comments on mine. Also, really appreciate it. All right, good evening from Central PA. What's going on, Greg? Good to have you back. All right, and let's just shoot through here real quick. I see a few guys confirming that you could not hear the soundboard, but like I said, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so somebody did say they heard some bells ringing a bell. So I think you guys may be hearing that through my headphones. Let me just go ahead and try that one more time. So I'll hit those bells, but it should be just as loud as my audio whenever it comes through. Let me just hit it one more time. Did you guys hear that coming through the actual? It just may be some, just coming through the headphones, or are you actually hearing it coming through as loud and clear as you hear me? And just give you guys, because it's kind of like a little lag, just a little bit. So I just have to wait a second to see if you got how you guys are responding. All right. So yeah, if you're hearing it low, then that's more than likely because the it's coming through the audio of the headphones. And actually, while I'm at it, I will try one more thing real quick, guys. And like I said, if that does not take care of it, then no problem. We will just go ahead and push through. We will push through. Let's see. All right, we'll try that. And we will try, let's see, what was the other thing? All right, here we go. So we'll just go ahead and roll with it, guys. All right, so let's see who else we have. So Greg H got Triton, got Hudson. All right, so there we go, guys. We have you guys checking into the live stream. Really, really appreciate you coming back for the evening. So for tonight's topic, you guys saw it. It is basically, what do you guys think about banning tournaments or limiting tournaments? I mean, maybe so many tournaments per year, per lake or something like that. How would something like that work? So basically, that is what we are going to get into, guys. As you guys know, the last live stream that we did last week, we were talking about banning live imaging. Just, that's kind of a topic that continues to come up. So we're just kind of pushing through on that again. But something new has come up. For anybody that has been following the ban this or ban that, what do you guys think about banning tournaments, or not banning tournaments completely, but limiting tournaments? So let's say, for example, if you are at a specific area, and let's just pick Lake Lanier, for instance. So instead of there just being multiple club tournaments, open tournaments, just tournaments, unregulated, well, they're kind of regulated because you do have to get licensing for individual tournaments, depending on how many boats are going to be in those tournaments. But it's still kind of unlimited in a way, because anybody that signs up goes and does the proper paperwork, or like I said, if the boats are not up to it, I think it's 10 boats. So if you're under 10 boats, then you guys can just have tournaments without registering or anything. You just show up at the lake, pretty much go for what you know. But for the bigger tournaments, do you guys think that there should be a limited amount of tournaments in order to not allow the fish to be not allow the lakes to be overfished, or start having issues with the creel limits and all those things? So the reason that this is kind of coming up is because it's kind of an extension on banning live imaging, guys. So as you saw last week, what was put out was to contact some conservation departments to see if they would assist in banning live imaging. But as you guys saw what I was mentioning before, and actually, hold on, let me just see if I can pull something up real quick, and I will play this footage for you guys, just for anybody that was not present during the last live stream. Let me just go ahead and pull up a quick video clip, and this will kind of get you guys up to speed as to where we were at before, and just kind of clarify a few things. So just bear with me real quick. Let me just share my screen. 1 second, guys. All right. So let me pull this up. All right, here we go. Share screen. All right, just bear with me, guys. Just getting everything set up for you so we can get into it tonight. All right, what is the title of that one? All right, here we go. All right, so I will pull this up and go ahead and play this clip, and I will start it real quick, and then I just need you guys to hit me with a 1 in the comments once I start playing this. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear it. So I'm just going to play it real quick, and then I'm going to stop it, but just want to make sure that you can hear the audio before I continue playing the entire thing. All right, let's see. So he got what he wished for, but he didn't get what he thought he was wishing for.
So anyway,
all right, there we go. Could you guys hear that clip? Just want to make sure that the audio is coming through for you guys. All right, so I'm seeing some ones in the comment sections. All right, so let me go ahead and just put this full screen and take this down real quick. All right, so here we go, guys. I am going to play this video clip, and basically this will kind of get you guys up to speed as to what we are starting off from and what we're going to get into tonight. All right, here we go, guys. So he got what he wished for, but he didn't get what he thought he was wishing for.
So anyway, I reached out actually today. I contacted several different state conservation departments, and I posed a question to them. And they were very familiar with the issue, guys. Apparently, a lot of the conservation departments have had a lot of public outcry against LiveScope forward-facing sonar, so much so that several of them that I talked to, they have been and they're currently conducting studies to see if forward-facing sonar LiveScope is negatively impacting fisheries.
Let me just tell y'all a quick story about something. Okay. So there was this guy. You know, he was a hard worker. He's out here, you know, putting in time, doing all of these things, taking care of his family, all of these great things. And he's kind of making his way in life, right? And so luck has it, this man found a little bottle. I mean, it was kind of this funny shaped thing, kind of dusty a little bit. So what do you think you do if something's a little dusty and needs to be cleaned off? He just took something and started rubbing on it to clean it off. And guess what happened when he did that? Poof! A genie popped out of that bottle. Oh my goodness. I mean, you have 3 wishes, sir. It's like, hey, all my dreams have now come true. My life is about to. You have 3 wishes, sir. It's like, hey, nothing could be better. So now what this man does is he asks for something. But have you ever heard the thing of be careful what you ask for? Yeah. Because he has everything's going okay. I mean, he's just working his way just like anybody else. He's progressing. But what he asked for is he wants to be known everywhere. He wants worldwide fame. He wants everybody to know him. So he's like, hey, that is my first wish. And so he wishes that, and poof. And guess what he gets? Everybody now knows who he is, but guess why they know who he is? He is now the biggest, literally the biggest man on earth. This dude weighs about 3,000 pounds. So he got what he wished for, but he didn't get what he thought he was wishing for. So that being said, let me explain something to you. So what has happened in response to what he just put out, because he is trying to find a roundabout way to get something that he feels should be banned, right? We can agree on that, right? So now he goes to the conservation people and says, hey, this new thing that is out is destroying your lake. The fishing thing, everybody's catching too many fish and they're just depleting the lake. And they're like, you know what? You're right. So we're going to give you what you wish for. You care about the conservation of this lake. You can't catch 30 crappie anymore. You can take home 10. Put the live images and staying. Thank you for your input, sir. So he may have got what he asked for, but he didn't get what he asked for. So now how many people are going to be upset with now they used to be able to bring home 30. In some states it's 25. But now DNR says, thank you, sir. Shakes his hand and says, everybody, 10. 10. And not only are we telling you 10 today, we're coming out and forcing, regulating, and making sure everybody has 10. What was Brim unlimited? Nah, Brim's not unlimited. We're putting 20 on that. 20. Catfish? Nah, we're going to fix the. You said the problem was you want to conserve, right? So now we're conserved. We're good. Bass fishermen, keep on doing your thing, because guess what bass fishermen do? We throw our fish back, and we get upset whenever we see somebody about to keep them. Try to catch a 7 or 8 pounder and take that thing home in the tournament. So be careful what you ask for, because you may get what you ask for.
Well, you got to be an inch one first. But anyway.
But you don't get what you ask for. So think about that. Think about that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because that has.
And again. I'm not saying, like I started with it. I said I didn't agree with what his approach and what he's doing, because I do agree with that. Is that, yeah, you ask for it, you're gonna get more than what you really are bargaining for
early. All right, there we go, guys. Just wanted to play that for you. And real quick again, I was messing with my audio and stuff while that was playing. Just hit a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. And while you're doing that, I will pull up the next clip that we are going to get into. And this is pretty much going to be the meat of the live stream for tonight. Just gonna let you guys listen to a few things. I'll weigh in and give you my input on it. And as always, make sure you get active down in the comment section. And guys, want to give a quick shout out to Maggie, the substitute teacher. She has hit me with a $5 Cash App supporting the channel. Really, really appreciate it, Maggie. Make sure you guys go and check out her YouTube channel, Maggie, the substitute teacher. Basically, her channel is all about healthy eating. She does a live cooking show, guys. So as you know, we don't always eat right when we're out there on the water. Got to watch that blood pressure, the cholesterol, all that good stuff. So she takes some great meals and substitutes healthy choices or healthy ingredients in those meals. So make sure you guys check out Maggie, the substitute teacher. And since she is now the sponsor of the live stream for tonight with her $5 super chat, $5 Cash App. Let me just take a quick second and go in here and update this banner that you see scrolling at the bottom of the screen, guys. So just want to give a shout out to Big Jim Fishing also. He was the sponsor of last week's live stream. I think he sent over a $20 super chat, guys. Really, really appreciate all of the support for the channel. And let me just get this in here real quick. Maggie, the substitute teacher. All right, just bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I have to do a little work right here. Substitute teacher. There we go. All right, getting that updated. And hold on, bear with me, guys. Let me redo that. Try that one more time. And like I said, I see you guys are hitting some 1 in the chat for me, so that's letting me know everything is still looking good, sounding good, spelling right. All right, there we go. And all right, there we go. Scrolling at the bottom. Maggie, the substitute teacher. She is the sponsor of tonight's live stream with a $5 Cash App, guys. And basically, as always, with each week that we do our live streams, whoever gives the highest super chat Cash App to the channel at that time becomes the sponsor of that live stream. So if somebody kicks in and beats her $5 donation to the live stream, then I'll go in here and change that that sponsor message. But really, really appreciate it, Maggie, and everybody that has been continuing to support the channel. All right, so let me just pull up a few of these comments that have been coming in, and then I will go ahead and get into the next video clip, guys. Let me just clear this out real quick. All right, so we have C219 Troll checking in. This is the Crappie King right here, guys. So he's out there winning those crappie tournaments. What's going on? Really appreciate you coming into the live stream. All right. And Triton Jones says Randy needs to stop. Hey, I mean, it's kind of entertaining, some interesting topics and stuff that he brings up. And he has some good tips and everything like that on his channel too. So, I mean, I like his channel. So, it's just a little controversial at times. All right. Hudson says no. Okay. So let's see. Let me just get caught up real quick. All right, here we go. All right, so we have Thomas coming back into the live stream. He says, Randy is okay to listen to, but I'm here, not there. Randy should pick a fun hobby of some kind. So I mean, I think he's doing pretty good over there. I mean, he's about to hit 100,000 subscribers, guys. So he's figured out some type of formula. So he's doing his thing over there. All right, Dexter says, yes, I do, because I fish Lake Eufaula, Alabama, and it is always heavy pressure. So Dexter is saying, hey, man, we need to cut back and limit the number of tournaments that are coming to the lake. So I did kind of figure that it would be some guys that were for that. So yeah, so not banning the tournaments altogether, but basically just limiting the tournaments. So maybe only allowing a certain number of tournaments on the lakes per year. Man, that would be big, because right now it is kind of a free-for-all. I mean, if you want to go out there and go fishing, you can just go out there and go fishing, but that is going to cause a lot of, I don't know, I think that will definitely be a controversial thing if they start trying to limit the number of tournaments per on the lakes. But I can see that you, like you're saying, there's always heavy pressure, so yeah, to give the fish some time to rest and things like that. But I don't know. I don't know about that one. Let's see what some other guys have to say. All right, so C219 Troll, he says, don't agree with banning tournaments at all, but I absolutely disagree with bass tournaments releasing dead fish after a weigh-in. Not a good look at all. I've seen it a few times on Clark's Hill. Yes, and I agree with that. That is definitely something that we do not want to see. And that is why we pretty much have those penalties in place to kind of push people to bring in those fish alive and release those fish alive. So we definitely do not want that. So yeah, I'm all for, if there's something that can be done to kind of assist with that, as far as being able to get those fish back released into the lake alive. All right, and we have Crappy Nader. Okay, what's going on, Nate? All right, Nate says Donald Trump. I don't really know what that means. I mean, Donald Trump fish. I see him, he plays golf and stuff like that. I don't know about fishing, but hey, that would be interesting, having a fish off between the candidates, huh? That'd be something different. All right, so Bobby Thrasher says climate change, lockdown supporter, and anti-LiveScope. Climate change, lockdown supporter, and anti-LiveScope. All right, so you're against LiveScope and climate change lockdown. I'm not really following what you're saying, but I'm guessing that you're saying that you are in agreement with some type of limitations on the tournaments, and your anti-LiveScope. So yeah, so we did get into that last week, and I mean, we'll probably get into it again one of these times whenever I can get Chicken Hawk back on here, or if anybody wants to hop up and we can kind of drop some different ideas, see what your thoughts are, see what mine are. I mean, that's always a good time. But let me what I'll do, guys, is drop this link in the chat. So if anybody does want to come up and you have certain thoughts on the topic, you can hop in and give your input on it. And like I said, we will also do the how would you fish it segment after we go through this next video clip and have a discussion with that. So let me go ahead and get that queued up. Just bear with me, guys. 1 second. Okay, here we go. Just have to share my screen again. And now we will get into the meat of tonight's live stream. So let's have a little fun with it, guys. Make sure you get active down in the comment section, because as you know, I do give those shout outs, and want to give a special shout out to the Money Team. Those are the guys that are a member of the MoneyBass channel. And if you're interested in becoming a member of the MoneyBass channel, and basically it's just a way to show additional support for the channel, and anyone that is on the Money Team, you will get a special badge or a special logo next to your name in the comment section. So that way you get priority, priority reading and shout outs and things like that in the chat, especially whenever we have topics where that chat is moving kind of fast. You guys will stand out in that chat. And like I said, it's just a way to show some appreciation to the channel. All right, so let's see. Let me go ahead and share this screen for you guys. All right, here we go. Just make sure I get this up here. All right, and let's see if we have any other comment. Okay, let me go ahead and read this last comment real quick. So Hudson Logan Fishing, he says, need to take better care of our fish, but not limit tournaments. All right, so yeah, so he is against limiting tournaments. But let me get this set up for you guys. Okay, so here we go. We are going to get into the meat of the topic, the meat of this live stream. So let me go ahead and get this one queued up. All right, guys, I'm going to, you guys should be able to hear it okay, but if for any reason you can't hear it, make sure you guys let me know in the comments so I don't play the entire clip. It's probably about 30 seconds or something like that, and then I'll stop it and just kind of add my comments to it and see what you guys have to say about it. All right, so let's go ahead and listen to what he now has to say. And just kind of to segue into this, we did watch the clip from last week that I played just a few minutes ago, where we were discussing an attempt to kind of ban live imaging on lakes by going to the conservation departments and having them push the actual ban for the live imaging. But what ended up happening with that, guys, is they stated that if their results show that there's any type of need to make some adjustments because of the fishery being affected, that they have no intention on banning any type of LiveScope or electronics. What they are going to do is adjust the creel limits. So for guys that are wanting to ban LiveScope, that now go to the conservation department and say, hey, ban LiveScope or live imaging, Mega Live, Active Target, all of that stuff, because it is affecting the fishery. They're basically saying, thank you for bringing that to our attention. We're going to decrease the creel limit to actually make up for any type of adjustments that we need. So that's where we left off last time. So now, why would we need to kind of limit some tournaments? Is it another way to kind of a means to an end? But let's see, guys. Let's see what he has to say.
I'll come out and say right off the bat, fishing would definitely be better without tournaments. There's no doubt in my mind. I think that the overall quality of bass fishing would be better. Your ability to catch fish, the aesthetic value of being on the water, as far as just not having hundreds of boats running around the lake at 60 miles an hour. Just the noise decibel, just from that point of view, would be a lot less. So yeah, I think that bass fishing would be better without tournaments from one standpoint.
All right, so there we go, guys. So that is the first segment of this. So there's about 3 or 4 little snippets that I'm going to play of this, but you can always go to his channel directly and watch the full video. I think it's about a little over 7 minutes long, something like that. But the meat of the video is probably about 5 minutes or so. So what do you guys think about that? So he said, let me just play that beginning part one more time, just so we can hear it.
Bad, that type of stuff. I'll come out and say right off the bat, fishing would definitely be better without tournaments. There's no doubt in my mind. I think that.
All right, so there you go. Fishing would be better without tournaments. What do you guys think about that? So I can say that my initial thought is, I mean, yes, the lakes would be better if there was no fishing on there as far as the fishery goes, as far as the fish population and everything. But at some point it would need to be regulated. But as far as getting rid of tournaments, my first thought is no. Or yeah, fishing would be better without tournaments. Yeah, but then where does your enjoyment go as far as people that have that competitive spirit in them? And as far as the and again, guys, remember, it's always going to come back down to finances. A lot of these smaller cities and towns, and even the bigger ones, they gain a lot of revenue from the traffic that is brought in from these tournaments, and people coming from out of town, whether it's going to be the food, the gas, the lodging, especially the lodging, all of that revenue coming into those areas. So whenever we start talking about limiting or banning anything, it is going to start cutting into revenue. So it's going to be kind of a give and take. But what do you guys think about that? Let's see. Some of you guys get active down in the comments. I see a few of you guys have put in there about you don't necessarily agree with limiting, or especially, I mean, it's not really about banning tournaments. It's about, from what my understanding is, it would be more of limiting the number of tournaments throughout the season. So maybe instead of having like 50 tournaments, they may bunch those down and say there's only going to be 30 or 35 tournaments, let's say. And if you want to participate in a tournament on that lake, you are going to have to join that particular organization that has now been given permission to run their tournament on that lake. So again, guys, you can see how it is all going to come back down to finances in some type of way. Which tournament organization is going to contribute the most to that city or that town to their their finances in order to gain that spot. But that's kind of how I see it. And let's see if anybody has hopped in here real quick. All right, so 360-second Campbell, what is going on? So you decided to check in for tonight. All right, he says, I absolutely come on, man, that's not the topic. But yeah, so I mean, he has some different thoughts than a lot of us may have. But yeah, so what do you guys think about that? But what I'll do is go ahead and pull up this second clip, and it's just kind of his thought on just fishing tournaments. So we'll play this part real quick. And like I said, guys, once we finish this section, we will do our weekly how would you fish it. And you guys know that have been tuning into my channel, that's where I will pull up some on the water footage, some electronics footage. We will go over that and just kind of let you guys put your input in there on how you would choose to fish it, and then I will go how I actually did fish it and just show you some alternative baits on that, because that is something that I have received request for, to show that type of information to help you guys out there on the water. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this next segment.
Bass tournaments, man. I love the everything about them. I love the fact that in a tournament situation, the intensity of the fishing experience, I think, is heightened a little bit, because when you put money on the line in a tournament, it makes everything a little bit more live. It accentuates and magnifies your emotions. Now, those emotions can be magnified good or bad. You can be super, super happy, or you can be super, super bummed out. But that's what gambling does overall, is it makes the experience of losing or winning a lot more intense. Another good thing about tournaments, they pushed a lot of the equipment innovations, a lot of the improvements that you've seen in rods and reels and boats and, tackle and that type of stuff. True. As a direct result of the need of tournament fishing. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's definitely improved some of the merchandise as far as catching fish.
All right, so there we go. So that is the next segment. So basically, he's just saying that he does obviously enjoy tournament fishing, because that is how he made his living. So he is not against tournaments. It just sounds like he just is looking for a way to kind of regulate some things and just change things up a little bit. But I mean, I don't know, guys, knowing that it just seems like it may end up being another roundabout way trying to get to this live imaging. It seems like that may be the goal. I don't know, guys. So let's just continue looking and watching the other. I have three more little clips that I will play. But like I said, guys, get active down in the comment section. I want to see what you guys are thinking about this. So far, what it sounds like is limiting tournaments on the lake in some type of fashion is the thing that he is kind of advocating for. All right, so let me just go ahead and pull up the next little part of this clip. And once again, guys, the full clip is on his channel. And it's "Would Bass Fishing Be Better Without Tournaments?" is the title of his video. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next segment and see what he has to say.
I think there's too many bass tournaments out there. I think that there's a place for bass tournaments in this country. I think that the good outweighs the bad, but we simply have too many tournaments in this country. We do. Sorry, guys.
All right, so there we go. So he says there are too many tournaments. Do you guys agree with that? Disagree with that? Do you kind of see what he's getting at, or what do you think is the the goal with saying that we need to limit the tournaments, ban live imaging, all of that? What is it all kind of leading to, guys? All right, and there's one more segment that I want to play. So basically, that is the solution. So his video title is "Would Bass Fishing Be Better Off Without Tournaments?" And his solution is not to ban the tournaments, but to limit the tournaments. All right, let me just play one more thing in here, and then we will kind of get into it and see what you guys are saying down there in the comment section. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this last clip, and then we'll go ahead and get into it, guys.
Tournaments out there. I wish we could cut the tournaments in this country in half, and I think that if we did that, you'd see a dramatic improvement in the tournament. So I'd be curious to get your guys' opinion on that. You know, a lot of you guys that watch the video, you guys fish tournaments of different sizes and, you know, different circuits and that type of stuff. Let me know what you guys think of here.
All right, so there we go, guys. So that is pretty much what he is talking about. Not going as far as banning them, but he is basically saying to limit tournaments, cutting them in half. Now, how did he come up with is that just something that's being tossed out there? Or do you think there was any type of research or anything that went into that? But to limit tournaments. So basically, what I would say, my interpretation of that, and like I said, you guys can chime in. And I dropped the link down in here. So if anybody wants to come up on the live stream and just, you know, kind of chat about this topic, then we can do that real quick. And then, like I said, right after we finish this, we will step into the how would you fish it. We're going to try doing that on the live stream and see how that works out. See if you guys like that format a little bit better. May add a, you know, a different little touch or element to it. So we'll try it that way. All right. So let's see. Let me go back up here and look at these comments to see where you guys are at. All right. So we have Edward Ragsdale Fishing says, I don't agree with what he said at all. So you do not agree with limiting tournaments at all. So, and like I said, in my opinion, what this would mean is where there could be on any given lake. Let's say that there's, so let's say there is, let me just throw out a number. Let's say in a given year, there are 200 tournaments on that lake. So now instead of having 200 tournaments, they're going to knock that down to 100. And if you want to participate in a tournament on that lake, you probably have to be a part of an organization that has been authorized to host a tournament on that lake. So it's another way to kind of regulate things that are going on that lake, guys. So, all right. So we have somebody that wants to come up and chit chat about it a little bit. Let me just read actually two more comments real quick, because I see these are his comments. All right, let me see. I'm slowly getting to where I can't watch his videos much anymore. All right, I'm hearing that. I'm hearing that a little bit, but I mean, they have some entertainment value, and it's for people that are kind of coming into fishing for the first time. I mean, there's some nice tips and things in there just to kind of add some spice to it. All right, let me see. When it was about fishing styles, it was okay. All right. So that's basically what I was just saying also. Now it seems like he's more into more negative about fishing. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure exactly where that's coming from. Does it stem from the whole electronics thing? And now we're just kind of adding on to it a little bit more and more. So that's kind of the feel that I'm getting for it. Just kind of trying to figure out different ways to eliminate electronics out of the fishing industry. All right, so yeah, I see you guys are in here getting active in the comment section, so that is good. All right, so without further ado, let's bring up Edward Ragsdale. Let's see what he has to say. All right, can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
All right, we can hear you okay, see you okay. All right, looks like you're on the road.
Yeah, just traveling back from a little outing I had. So
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But my thing is you know, I kind of agree there are a lot of tournaments. I'm not denying that one bit. But the thing with that is the tournaments are designed for different types of people, different financial standpoints, not just, hey, you know, I make $200,000 a year fishing tournaments. This is the only ones that should be allowed to be had.
Right.
I mean, so you're going to have entry level tournaments, like me, for instance. I fished some Michelin tournaments from my work, but I also fished BFLs. I fished other divisions as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's not, to me, it's, you start limiting the tournaments, then because of pleasure boaters, I'm gonna put it to you this way: I've had more close calls from pleasure boaters causing me harm than another fishing boat. Matter of fact, I was on Kiwi 3 months ago, and I was on a point, trolling motor down, and a jet ski comes around the corner and basically almost clips the front of my boat. Luckily, there was a game warden right there, ended up pulling them over.
Okay.
So I don't know where he gets his information from, but a lot of it I have realized is inaccurate.
Yeah. And I mean, you make a very interesting point about the different entry levels, because let's just say, for example, if there was going to be something put in place when they were going to limit the tournaments, because some people go out there and fish tournaments where the entry fees are $40, $20. Some people go and fish tournaments where the entry fee is $200, $300, $500. So yeah, I mean, it would open up a big can of worms to all kinds of different things going on. But yeah, so
Correct.
I mean, yeah, and so just wondering, like, where is this coming from? Like, what is the end goal in it? Because it kind of, to me, starts off with the electronics and wanted to get rid of the electronics. So is it really about the skill thing? Is it about the just fishing and, just being out in the elements and enjoying the sounds of the birds and the waves and all that kind of stuff? Or, you know what I mean? Or some people just say it's because people don't want to learn how to use new technology. So
yeah, I agree with that. And another thing too is his negativity started when Active Target and all that forward-facing sonar came out, and he's made a couple remarks that pretty much has said that, because he says he can't compete with forward-facing sonar. Well, one of two options needs to be done: either you accept it or get out of it.
Yeah,
it's not going anywhere.
And there's always the option of having more than one type of trail, like they have kayak trails and things like that. So, I mean, I'd just be interested in someone that is saying they want to just ban something. Why?
I mean, I have Active Target, and I'm gonna put it to you this way: it doesn't help me catch fish. It shows me where they're at, but you're not gonna make them bite.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And with every new different upgrade or something that comes out as far as electronics goes, it may seem like at the time that it's just this big. I mean, they are some game changers whenever they first come out, but as fish learn to adapt to them and different things like that, it still doesn't change that you have to go out there and catch those fish. So each one does have its advantage to it, but I mean, people have to be willing to put in that time and everything, you know what I mean, to kind of perfect it. And we don't all have that amount of time, as a professional fisherman, to get out there and really get to it like that.
Correct. And I've caught myself just turning it off a lot of times, and just going back to what I know best. I mean, because sometimes, and I've caught myself in tournaments paying more attention to the forward facing sonar than really what I need to be focusing on.
Yeah.
So it can help and it can hurt. It's up to you to decide.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, you made a good point. Yeah, you made a real good point. But yeah,
well, I appreciate you bringing me on though.
Oh yeah, definitely appreciate you coming up. And we will be doing a live stream about BFLs and stuff too. Because I'm gonna be looking into getting into some BFLs next year also. So make sure you stay tuned and come up whenever we start talking about those BFLs too.
Oh yeah, because I'll be fishing the Savannah River division. I'll be fishing the South Carolina division.
Okay.
And then me and my fiance actually fished the ABA couples trail. So
wow. Okay. Yeah. So that's good. I mean, if you can get a fiance into fish, like that, I mean, that's a win-win right there. Especially if you bring home a check with it too.
Into it more than I am.
Gotcha. So, all right.
I appreciate it, man. Y'all.
Okay.
Y'all have.
All right. You too. Appreciate you coming up. All right, guys. So yeah, so that was a pretty interesting take on it right there. I mean, if something was to be done to where it's limitations on it, of course, there's going to be some type of limitations to where what organizations are actually able to get licensing to participate on tournaments in lakes. So yeah, I mean, it'll be a big change to what we're used to, guys. All right. And then let's see who else we have. So yeah, you guys are getting active in the comments. And again, I'll put the link in here. If anybody else wants to come up, just kind of voice your opinion on it. And if there's anybody out there that kind of agrees with it, I saw that there was someone earlier from that fishes lake you follow that said, yeah, they would like to see some type of limitations on the number of tournaments that are allowed on the lake per year. So that would get very, very tricky. All right. And let's see. Okay, 360-second Campbell, you in here dropping some stuff in here. Let's see. So you said that you stopped watching a long time ago. It used to have good info, actually teaching. Now it's just a wine fest. So yeah, I mean, he still drops the a lot of the tips and things like that. But I mean, sometimes you have to be a little controversial. You know what I mean? Give some people some entertainment and stuff like that. All right, let's see. Who else we have? All right, 362nd. Campbell also says, I would like to see him limited from tournaments. It's not, man, we can't limit people from tournaments. You can't do that. All right, so Hudson Logan Fishing says, if you do limit tournaments, people would still practice. Right. So yeah. So I mean, yeah, even though people would still practice, I guess it would just, like I said, be a roundabout way to trying to get to that end goal. And I'm not sure what that end goal really is. Is it just to get at the electronics being on the lake? Because if there's a way to limit people from being on the lake as much, then obviously there won't be as much electronics on the lake. So we'll see. We'll see, guys. All right. So Randy says, absolutely agree. All right. All right. And then we have Texas Snoop 2010 says, I wonder how his sponsors feel about limiting the number of tournaments. Yeah, I mean, in the end, guys, you know, it's going to be those finances are always going to come into play, because if it is a business, remember, a business has to make money to stay alive. If they're not making any money, then there won't be any tournaments or anything like that to begin with. All right. So Randy says, why you trolling? I don't like his views myself, but you're always trolling. Why? Come on up here. Let's talk about it. And what do you mean by trolling? So yeah, we could talk about it. I dropped the link right in here for you, Randy. All right, here we go. There we go. So if Randy wants to come up and kind of explain what trolling means whenever we're talking about topics, that will work. All right, so 362nd Campbell says, ding, ding, ding. He just nailed it right on the head. Can't compete. Yeah, so I mean, that's what some people say, but I mean, is there some legitimacy to the topics that he has? All right, and then let me see. Ballsy Bates says, I don't think the issue is the established fishermen right now. It's the future fishermen. All right, so that may be in regards to, I guess, more people getting into fishing, and it begins to affect the fisheries themselves, because that is something that was brought into play in our last live stream, that it was mentioned that as a result of the pandemic, where people were getting into more things that were outdoors, the fishing industry had an increase of 8 to 10 million new fishermen, new anglers that were coming into the sport. So whether that's bank fishermen, tournament fishermen, so everything kind of increased. So it's possible that that it did, you know, affect fisheries from that standpoint, to where it may not have been electronics, it may not have been the weather, it may not have been the cold fronts or anything that are, you know, making it harder for people to catch fish now. It could just be the pressure itself, because that is a big increase in people that have come into the sport. All right. And then Edward Ragsdale, you guys are getting into the comments down there. Good deal, good deal. All right. And then Deshaun Peck says, I disagree with Randy. And besides, who's going to manage limiting tournaments on the lakes? He's creating more work for lake officials, which I'm sure they wouldn't be excited about. Yeah. So it would be, to me, it would be something to where they just have more of a regulation on the issuing of licenses, because on some of the lakes that we fish here, you have to get a license from, if it's a DNR facility or something like that, you have to get licensing for that. So that's basically what they would do. They would limit the licensing that they would put out, and maybe only give it to certain organizations that they approve to put out the tournaments. All right, and let's see. All right, so Thomas says, Randy talks about retiring for tournaments, so why does he even speak this? So let's just take it for face value and say that he is basically looking at it from a standpoint of, this is destroying the fisheries, or fisheries, they're just getting overfished and it's depleting the, you know, it's just causing damage to it. So from that standpoint, then there could be some legitimacy to it, and the conservation departments would be the ones to let us know that. And from what they have said, that what they would do is adjust the creel limits. So if there's some legitimacy to it, whenever they do their tests and investigations into any issues, then, you know, that'll kind of let us know these things. All right, and I have somebody else in the back that I will bring up. Let me just read this one more comment, and let's see. All right, let me see. I guess because you brought up his videos a few times, I call it discussions. Why you bring it? Okay, yeah. So somebody in here actually is named Randy, and he's saying that I'm trolling by talking about the topics that Randy actually wants to discuss. So I don't know, guys. Listen, I fish, and I do YouTube is kind of like a side thing. So it's not my main thing. So I'm not really sure what that means by trolling. But Randy, if you are in there, how about you hop in here and let's talk about it. Let's talk about the topic that Randy is wanting us to actually talk about, because he's the one that is bringing it up. All right. And without further ado, let me go ahead and bring up 360-second Campbell. What is going on? What's going on?
Hey, MoneyBass, how you doing, man? How do you hear?
Doing all right. Doing all right. How you been doing?
Working.
Working. All right.
Working.
So have you been out there on the lake lately?
No, man, I hadn't got my new boat yet. Don't get into the new year.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So did you trade the other one in, or what did you do with that?
No, I sold it, man. 1 week.
Wow. Okay.
Took me 1 week. You believe that? I can't believe that. 1 week. Sold it 1 freaking week.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think we had talked about that a while back. Was that, we may have mentioned something about, well, whenever you were whenever I was talking about the nitros and different things like that, I told you that, yeah. So the boats now, people are snatching those things up quick. So even people that have bought boats in the past, they're able to sell those things for more than what they actually had paid for them now. So yeah, it's kind of crazy how the market is right now, especially with those used boats.
Yeah, it's a good thing though. I'm looking forward to the new boat. So you actually hit something I was going to bring up, which is why I was going to come on here. I know on Lanier, since that's our home lake, we fish that a lot. I know that it is permit restricted, meaning that any tournament that is held on Lake Lanier that's over a certain amount of boats, and I want to say it's 15 boats.
I think it's 10, because I actually
maybe it's 10.
I get the licenses for them sometimes.
Yeah, that requires a permit. Now I don't know if the permit itself is regulated, meaning they only issue so many within a year or whatever.
Right.
But it very well could be. So I think that the tournaments in general are already regulated to a point.
Right.
But you still aren't going to keep small club events off of a lake and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, Randy is always, well, he wasn't always this way. I think Randy's bitter.
Mm-hmm.
He's bitter because the industry, the skill set, the abilities, I think it's running off and leaving him. Because he's kind of at that point in life to where he's kind of, he doesn't have his mojo like he once had, maybe. And I think he's bitter, which is why he's such a damn negative Nancy when it comes to fishing and everything.
Yeah. So, and I guess for me, I kind of more so like, people have their individual thoughts and feelings about the person. You follow what I'm saying? But then there's the person, and then there are the topics that he may bring up. Some of them could be a legitimate topic. Do you follow what I mean? Like, for example, if, lakes are being affected by being overfished and stuff like that, and he reports that to the conservation department, and his intent is really to look at the conservation of lakes throughout the country, because from what I saw, he's wanting his subscribers to go out and contact the conservation departments, but it was in regards to banning electronics, banning live. I mean, they could say, well, hey, yeah, we don't need sonar anymore, or this, like, that was the thing to try to get at live imaging, but it kind of backfired in a way, because it went to where people were, where they came back and said, well, they're not going to ban the electronics, they're just going to reduce the creel limits. So in a sense, would that make the people that are wanting that happy? Is that what they're really wanting? Do you follow what I'm saying?
No, so, what they really want is forward facing sonar ban. That's what Randy really wants. That's his ultimate goal. And at the same time, though, the whole, does the ecosystem get affected by having tournaments on the lake? Yeah, it gets affected by having a boat on the lake. It gets affected by having a dock on the lake. It gets affected by everything, right? But here's my thing. I've seen multiple tournaments that I've been a part of, especially within the BFLs, to where I have seen the DNR themselves out there actively working in conservation to take those fish, make sure those fish are healthy, and make sure to release them healthily back into the ecosystem, back into the lake. I've seen them out there taking fish that have been caught deep and actually fizzing them right there on the spot before they put them back into the lake so that they'll be released healthy. To me, it makes me proud, because I'm a part of a sport that takes conservation to that level. So it's kind of like, if you got the DNR out there actively participating as part of a tournament circuit to do that, I don't see where the argument's at.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean they already have guidelines and everything. So if they're doing what they do basically, and they're going out there and they're checking the inspecting everything, checking the limits and all that kind of stuff like they normally do, and then they set those guidelines whether you can bring 10 bass or 5 bass or catch 30 crappie or 20 crappie depending on the lake. So there's things that they actually do to stay within those guidelines. So yeah, I mean as long as that stuff is I mean, because I'm not an expert on it. We're not the experts. They are. So if they're coming back and telling us that everything is fine, then hey, then we can roll with that.
Right.
So,
I mean, fish are fish. It's always going to be at the end of the day, it's always going to be the angler against the animal, right?
Right.
No matter what you got, it's the angler against the animal. Doesn't matter what you're trying to catch them with, it's still the angler against the animal. Now, do they become smarter and wiser and, become more difficult to catch from pressure and all that kind of stuff? Man, I don't know. I kind of go with the Gerald Swindle school of thought on this is, they're little bitty guys with little bitty brains and we give them way too much credit.
Yeah, but sometimes, man, it seems like they know a few things when they're out there because to me,
now there's days where they're hard to catch. I'm just saying.
Because I think they've started adapting to sonar because now whenever I used to be able to go out there and bang them out pretty easy. Like pulling directly over them and things like that. But it seems like now it's not as much. When actually it does depend on the lake because there are some lakes where I can still go out there, but there are lakes that are actually less pressured. And, I can still go out there and catch them pretty good like that. But like a lake like Lanier, I mean, there's certain times where they're like, hey, I see you up there. I know what you're up there trying to do. So it seems like they adapt pretty well. And I kind of just feel that even with the forward facing sonar, it's going to be the same deal. That at some point there's something about it that they're going to start adapting to and realizing. So
maybe, I mean, to me, forward facing sonar has become less about, I don't even use it as a fish catching device now. It's kind of strange. When I first got it and first started working with it, it was a fish catching device.
Mm-hmm.
I'd see fish, and then I had to learn the discipline of not sit there and try to stay on a fish all day long that I was never going to catch, those type of things. But now it's not even about that. Now I use it more to locate and scan structure. I may or may not even see the fish. Just because I scan something, I don't see the fish doesn't mean I don't cast. Right. So that's what it's become more for me. It's more of a tool of no different than say side scan. Become more about utilizing it that way versus utilizing it as trying to, play cat and mouse to actually catch the fish with.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because sometimes that can kill you right there. If you're sitting there trying to do that all day. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the efficiency of it that will never go away. Being able to pull up to say a point or any kind of structure, be able to drop it in water, take a look at that, see if there's anything on it. Because I'm not even looking for fish most of the time. I'm just looking to see if there's any rocks or any brush or, that point within a point that guys like to talk about. I'm looking for that. You pull up on a dock or a series of docks. I'm going to scan under those docks, see if I can find a dock that has something underneath it. It just makes you far more efficient to doing it that way. It's not, I know some guys, especially on the pro circuit, they'll basically follow a school of fish around with it and just, every fish they see, they toss at it.
Right.
I mean, that's one way you could do it. Me, I don't feel like I'm being productive if I'm doing it that way, but that's just me. It's just how I'm using it. And you kind of have to adapt your style to it as well. If you're fishing offshore, I'm going to use it more for finding that structure, finding, brush piles or standing and looking for fish actually in that stuff that I'm fishing for.
Right.
If I'm fishing shallow, I'm going to use it more as my eyes under the water, looking for those rocks and those,
So what are your thoughts on this? Like how some people will say that basically at one point going out and catching certain fish. So say for instance in Lanier, for example, that standing timber, not where they put brush piles at, but going out and catching those fish that you could catch them, before live imaging, but now you're able to go out and locate those fish and target those fish to where it's easier to catch those fish offshore. So whereas people are saying, well, it needs to be limited or banned because now you're able to catch those fish that you couldn't before instead of, that's when they're resting, whenever they're out, like say it's summertime, now they're off the shore. You know what I mean? So we shouldn't catch those fish. We should be limited to the fish that are in that shallower shallower depths of water. What do you think about that?
I say horse poking. It's blind, and I'll tell you why. Because all throughout history, there's always been somebody that catches them.
Right. Yeah.
Just because I can see them and I can locate them doesn't mean I can catch them. There's guys that don't have the technology that can catch them. There's always somebody that can catch them. So this idea that suddenly uncatchable fish are catchable, I don't really buy into that. I think what it has done is it has educated us on fish and fish behavior. Therefore, it's made what we would used to consider uncatchable fish are more catchable, because now we can see when the fish are suspended, whereas prior to the technology, we wouldn't know if fish is suspended. We'd be dragging something on the bottom. Fish is suspended looking up. It's never going to see what we're dragging underneath it, right?
Right, exactly.
I think understanding the fish behavior, seeing how the fish reacts, has made us made anglers adapt using different techniques to be able to catch the fish, which is why they're catchable now. I believe they were always catchable. We just didn't understand the behavior. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, there were people out there catching even that standing timber using their sonar. I mean, it was tough. It was, it made it a lot tougher because I mean, you could locate them on the sonar, and then the location of them, the general location, and then
right. And I mean, with the fish behavior, I think the biggest revelation we probably got out of forward-facing sonar when it comes to the fish behavior is that it has revealed how little we actually know about fish behavior.
Definitely.
There's so much that was assumed or thought or even was passed off as fact-based, and we've learned that a lot of that is just not true. I think it's amazing. It's amazing to, one, see how many fish are out there at any one point in time. Two, to see how many fish actually look at your lure and or avoid your lure.
That was the part. That's one of the more amazing parts right there. Once you're able to see that and see how that works. So
right. Because now, I mean, used to, you go out there and you're fishing and you're dragging a worm on a point or something. You throw it out there, make a couple casts, drag it in, nothing happens. Then mentally, oh, there's no fish here.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now we do it and we go, oh, dadgummit, there's a whole school there, but they won't freaking bite.
Right. Yeah. Then next thing you know, you started doing that at 10 and now it's 2:30.
Yeah, exactly. Then Randy's man, my personal feelings about Randy. I'm just not a fan. When he was first coming up, I kind of feel bad for Johnny over at Fish the Moment because Johnny made Randy. Randy was already fishing professionally, but let me rephrase that. Johnny made Randy's YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
Randy didn't have the following that he's got now until he got to working with Johnny. And I kind of feel bad because he's gotten so negative now that I think eventually it's going to end up doing damage to Johnny's channel.
Yeah, Johnny's channel is real good. I mean, I'm subscribed to both of their channels. And Johnny actually has 2 channels. So both of those are, he has some quality content. So yeah, I like his channel. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a single man on a single man crusade.
Hey, he has a good following for him. Randy's doing his thing over there. He's about to hit 100,000, so he's putting in some work.
And Randy's got an echo chamber. That's what Randy has.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about Randy. Randy has an echo chamber. And that's why I say Johnny made Randy. I watched Johnny for years before Randy came into the picture. I saw it when they started working together, and then once they started working together, I saw how, because you got to keep in mind Johnny's channel is huge. It was massive then. It's massive now, and I saw how the members of Johnny's channel also became the members of Randy's channel.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. You're building your channel organically. You're getting on here, you're hitting hot topics, you're talking to people, things are happening organically, you're bringing people in, and it's growing modestly and it's growing at a good clip. Randy didn't do that. Randy basically stepped into something that was already there. He teamed up with Johnny, and then Johnny's members all jumped on Randy's channel, and thus Randy suddenly has all these members. Yeah,
I mean, but see, the thing is, it's YouTube is tricky. And so it's like everybody needs or gets a little push from somewhere. And so it just, to me, I just look at it as he had the opportunity came, but he was ready for that opportunity when it happened. Because there's some people that that opportunity can come and pass, and there's no way for them to capitalize on it. So he had like a knowledge base, and he was able to put out something that people really found interesting. Because even though let's say he does a tip or something like that, you may already know that information, but it's just something intriguing about it. Like, is he going to cut this a little different? Is he going to do this thing? You know what I mean? So, and then as fishermen, I mean, we can sit there and talk about baits for hours anyway. So it's, it was just something a little more, just a little something different to it that I kind of liked about it. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, even one of the participants tonight was saying in the comments, he and I were agreeing that, in the beginning when I was following Randy's stuff, when he was doing tips, he would be putting out some good information, even if it's stuff I already knew. It would be a different twist on this or different twist on that. But then he so went off the rails into the anti-forward facing sonar, and now it's become this conservation and too many tournaments. It's like his channel's turned into a bitch fest. It really has.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta keep it kind of interesting. I told you that I kind of like the entertainment aspect and the mixing of the the whole learning thing. Just kind of adds a little bit of spice to it. Just have a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah, but there's better channels out there. That's the thing. There's better channels out there.
But remember, and it's like, for me, I don't really want to talk so much about the person. It's more about, like, if he says, well, hey, we need to catch fish that are 15 inches instead of 14, you know what I mean? Then that is the thing to me that I would want to focus on. Like, okay, so is there some legitimacy to it? Or what is the reason behind it, that kind of thing. So, it just kind of adds another topic for people to get more people even interested in fishing, because hot topics bring more eyes to things, just like that walleye tournament thing.
Yeah, that's true. Controversy brings people. But, the thing is now, and you kind of get this earlier, his push for the forward-facing sonar, his anti-forward-facing sonar stance has become so known and has become so prevalent that now, even when he's putting out something that may not even be that controversial, or even that questionable, people are automatically associating it to his anti-forward facing sonar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like he's created his own negative perception or connotation of anything that he's doing or anything he's discussing, to where it's like, oh, here he goes again, another forward-facing sonar rant. It kind of goes back to what you were saying about it. Seems like it's just another angle to the same endpoint as he was doing with the whole conservation thing.
Yeah, so possibly we'll see what ends up happening with it. But all right, we've been going for about an hour. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the how would you fish it thing.
Yes, sir. Hey, well, while I'm on here, throw it up and I'll give you my 2 cents on it, and then I'll get off.
All right, let me see. Let me just see if I can get caught up in these comments real quick. Hold on just a second. All right. So don't log off. Just hold on a second, and I'll pull you right back up.
Okay.
All right, guys. So let's see. Let me see where we left off at. Let's see. Just gotta get caught up, because you guys did get a little active down here in the comment section. All right, and let's see. All right. So Edward says, even if a few fish die, it actually does provide food to the other species in the water as well. Yeah, so things don't always necessarily go to waste in a way. All right, so we said George says, I very rarely watch Randy's podcast anymore. He's gotten tedious about forward-facing scanning. So yeah, he talks about it a lot, but he still kind of mixes it up, because I think he drops about 4 videos a day. All right, so Edward says, I like using to be able to determine if my technique is working or if I need to change it up. Actually use it to try new things as well. Definitely. So that's what we were talking about just a minute ago. Vernon says, I'm tuning in late again. No notification alert. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with those notifications, but I'm really glad that you made it. And guys, we have hit the 5,000 subscriber mark. So that is an achievement for me, because I've been going at this for years. So it's kind of creeping along, but everybody that has subscribed to the channel, really, really appreciate it. We do get into a lot of great topics, tournament fishing. We go over reviews for different type of baits, equipment, things like that. And as you'll see in just a minute, we're going to do the how would you fish it segment, where I pull up a video from actually being out on the lake, And for tonight, it will be out on during a tournament. So I'll pull that up in just a second. Let me just get through 3 more comments real quick. All right. So Thomas says, how can you overfish a large lake or river when less than 10% of the targeted fish are caught? All right. So, yeah, I mean, so that's just one of those things where that conservation department, they're the ones that have all of that set up to where they can come back and tell us what is actually happening on the water. Because from our standpoint, whenever we can't catch fish, we may say, man, they've been out here catching all the fish in the lake, and that's why those fish are gone. Or, hey, maybe it was a cold front. We're kind of just guessing and going off of what we may feel, but they actually have ways of testing things out. So that's a great comment right there. Thomas says, how can you overfish? Okay, I already got that one. All right, let's go to Vernon Neal says, I start off watching his videos, but I never make it through the end. He definitely knows what topics to pick. Make sure I read that right. I start off watching his videos, but I never make it through to the end. Yeah, so he, like I said, he has some good info out there that can help you out with those tips and everything. All right, guys. So now what we are going to do is get into the how would you fish it segment. What this is, I bring up a video clip whenever I was actually out on the water. Sometimes it would be from the 360, sonar, live imaging. Never really know what it's going to be, guys. Sometimes it may not even have electronics in it. Maybe it just be some laydowns or some rocks. And what you do is you just take a look at everything that you can see on the screen, whether it's water temp, water depth, all of that good stuff, and determine what bait would you use. What do you feel would be most efficient if you could only use one bait, guys? If you had to pick one bait to catch these fish that you'll see in this clip, what would it be? All right, so let me bring 360-second Campbell back up here. Let me see, how do I get him back in here? Hold on 1 second. All right, let me drop you off, and then just click on that link and I'll bring you back up again, because it's not giving me oh, hold on, wait a second. Here we go. Is this it? Okay, here we go. All right, I got it now. All right, so let me just share the screen real quick.
See if I can make this bigger where I can actually see you.
All right, let me log off on this. All right, here we go. All right, so basically what we are going to look at tonight is going to be, as you might have thought, some live imaging, guys. All right, so let me get this back up here. Okay, so basically, all I'm going to do is just play this clip. There's no audio on the clip at the beginning, and all you're doing is just looking at the water depth, everything that you see set up on here. And guys, I know my screen is not completely clean. This is done actually during a tournament. So some of you guys may have seen this footage on one of the videos that I just released, but this is live imaging. So for you guys that know what you're looking at, go ahead and get active in the comments as this is playing, and just let me know what you're seeing in here, what bait you would pick, and why you're choosing to pick that bait. And then, like I said, I will come back, and I guess 360-second Campbell will hop in here. I have an idea of what he's gonna say. So yeah, get you guys input. So let me go ahead and just play this clip. Like I said, it doesn't have any sound in it right now, so all we're doing is just watching and observing what it is that you see on the screen. And again, this is Mega Live, guys. So what are the details and everything that you're noticing on the screen? And what bait would you pick to be able to catch the fish if you saw any fish on there? So let me go ahead and pause it real quick. All right. So did you see enough on there to what you
Yes. Am I that predictable?
Let me just reach over here and get this in my hand. So as you give me what you would use, let me just see if I was right. But go ahead. So what did you see, and what would you throw?
I'd actually throw 2 baits, but first go-to bait would probably be a DT10, a Rapala DT10.
What is that?
It's a great bait.
All right. So there you go. So you throw that. So what did you see in that image? Let me just go ahead and share it back up here again. So,
that's either a small rock pile or a small collection of brush 10 feet deep, right on that point where that fish is at. So DT10 with 12-pound test, I can get down. That fish is on bottom, so I can grind the bottom and basically run that thing. I could run it right through where he's at, right through his wheelhouse.
There you go. All right, so right there where I was pointing at. So that's pretty much what you're seeing right there. All right, so yeah, so you go through with that crankbait first, and yeah, so it's about 10 feet deep. Yep. So you'd actually let it go down there and actually hit that structure or that cover that you're seeing down there.
Correct.
Pretty much.
I'd make sure to cast beyond it. That way the crankbait gets down to depth by the time it gets to the structure.
Okay, gotcha. And then so with fishing a crankbait, since you're the crankbait expert.
Well, I'm not a crankbait expert. I just like fishing them on occasion.
I know, I'm just playing with you. So whenever you hit that cover, do you pause to let it float back up, or do you just burn it through it? Some people just burn it through that, and you know it deflects through there pretty good. So what kind of technique do you generally do with it?
There's two approaches. That's one. You can grind it until you bump the cover, and then you can let off of it and relax, and that DT10 will actually raise up a little bit,
right?
And then you can continue burning it. Another technique that I will use is actually I call it a burn and stop. So I'll do like 3 or 4 real quick turns, stop, real quick turn, stop. Right. And basically it's simulating the same thing.
Okay, gotcha. All right. And so
you're just trying to trigger it.
And you did mention that you had a second bait. So what would your second bait be?
If I can't get them on something that's moving like that, this time of year with the water temp, I'm probably going to toss a jig in there, drag a jig through there.
Okay. All right. All right. Two good ones. All right. So yeah, I would say both of those are some pretty effective lures to use. But let me see. I'm just looking to see. Are you guys gonna get active in the comments? I don't see anybody in there putting what they were doing there. Because basically what I'll do, all right, so I'll go ahead and drop you down, and then I appreciate you coming up.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna go ahead. So I gotta go take care of the family. But good talking. Good seeing you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Be good.
All right, guys. So yeah, so there you go. So you heard 360-second Campbell, what he would do when in that particular situation. Let me just go ahead and pull it back up here real quick, guys, and just kind of move it around for you. So what is it that you're noticing as far as, you know, water depth, water temp, all of that kind of stuff? What do you guys look at whenever you are considering what bait you would use? All right, guys, get active in the comment section. What I'll do is go ahead and continue playing it. And the next part will be with the audio on here. And remember, guys, this was actually done during a tournament, guys. So I kind of, you know, try to squeeze in some video clips for you guys, so I can come back and play that for you. All right, so let's see. I see a few of you guys getting active in the comments. Really appreciate it. But let's go ahead and take a look. Go ahead and let this finish playing out, and then I'll let it go into the part that has the audio. All right, wanted to give you guys some video of what I'm fishing right here. So as you can see, I'm sitting in about 30 feet of water, and these fish are sitting right up on the top of that, right on the top of that ledge. All right, let's keep working. All right, so there you have it, guys. There you have it. The fish are sitting right on the top of that ledge. Just trying to get my screen back right so I can get back to where I need to be on here, guys. Bear with me just a second. All right, there we go. So I'm pointing right at that area that I was targeting. And so what you could see is those fish were actually moving. And even if you look all the way to the left, when it starts coming down that ledge, those fish were moving back and forth, coming up and down that ledge. So you just had to pick whatever you felt would target those fish. Would it be something fast, something slow? Would it be something like 360-second Campbell was mentioning, where you would burn it through there and maybe try to get that reaction strike? So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let me take a look at the comments and see what we have going on in here. Hold on one second, guys. All right, so let's see, where are we at? So Vernon Neal says, I'd set up just off the break, throw a 8XD or top water and try to pull those fish up. Woo, and 8XD. All right, so that 8XD is a pretty big bait. That thing is going to dive deep, especially with that water being, what was that, about 10 feet? Let's see if I can see that again. So right there where my finger is pointing at is about 10 feet. So that's about 10 feet deep right there. So that 10XD, I believe those will hit like 15 feet. And that's another good thing about these electronics, guys. Whenever you get out there, you can throw your crankbaits out there in open water and just get a gauge for how deep they actually go in the water. So whenever you come on a situation like this, if you need to throw that 8XD, 6XD, or that 5XD, or depending on that DT10 or whatever bait you're used to using, you will know exactly what depth that bait will run at. And does it hit that depth at maybe 30 feet away, 60 feet away from the boat? Because the tracking on it is great. You will be able to see that kind of thing. All right. And let me see. Hold on just a second. All right. So that 10, I'm sorry, that 8XD. And let me just clear this off of the screen real quick again, guys. All right. There we go. So he would throw an 8XD or top water. Interesting choices. So yeah, the 8XD, that might work. Just got to be careful not to get that thing hung up, because I think at that depth it'll dig into there pretty hard. All right, Red Boat says great minds think alike. DT10 was my okay. So that was his choice, was his first pick. He says the DT10 was his first pick. We have C219 Troll says it is the A-Rig. And yes, I did want to throw an A-Rig that day, but I did not have it with me. I had one that I had actually got set up and everything, but I did not put it on my boat. So I didn't have it with me. So there we go, the A-Rig. All right, guys. So now let me just tell you what I look at whenever I'm taking a look at something like this. So as you see, I have my screen set out to, let me see, what was that? Just trying to see how many feet that is. 40, 50, 60, 70, 85. So I had it set out at 85 feet going forward. So it's set out at 85 feet going forward. The depth that I had it set at was maybe about 40 feet or so. And the reason I had it set at that depth is because sometimes I would creep up a little closer to that ledge, and sometimes I would pull away from that ledge. The fish were not hitting a drop shot bait. Even if the fish would come up, look at it or whatever, it's that type of situation to where, in my opinion, they're starting to get more adapted to the sonar, that clicking or something like that. But whatever it is, they're not, it's harder to catch those fish directly straight under the boat. So I would pull off of that ledge, and I would get to where my cast would go maybe 20 feet or so past whatever cover or structure or fish that I'm trying to target, and then I could pull that bait back over those fish. So those were the main things that I was looking for. Once I located and I could see that cover or those fish where they were staged at the top of that ledge, that gave me the what I needed to know as far as what baits I would use. So for this tournament, I mean, actually what I'll do is I'll just go through the options that I pulled up. And this is what one of my subscribers was asking me to do, was to show more of the actual baits that I would use. And believe it or not, guys, it's some women that watch this channel. And what she was bringing up was that she wants to buy lures for her husband. So she would appreciate it if I would show some different options. So this right here is a Rapala DT. I believe this is a DT10. This may be, because this one is a custom bait. So the actual bill is a little bit bigger. So I can't remember if this was a DT10 or bigger, but this is a Rapala bait. And what you want to do is just match that depth based on the that cover. And since we see that cover is sitting at about 10 feet, I want something that would dive a little bit deeper than that. So it will go down and tap that cover. And whenever you hit it, you can live a little dangerously. Some people, they're good at it. They can burn it straight through that stuff. They can hit it and let the bait deflect off of it. I'm not really that good with a crankbait, so mine will get stuck. So what I do is even if I'm burning it, as soon as I feel it tap a branch or hit some of that cover, I'll pause it and let that bait float up, and then I'll burn it again and just let it keep going down and digging into it and raising back up. So that's an option right there. And this right here is actually what I was using. So if you guys actually saw the video from the tournament where this footage came from, you will see that I was throwing a spy bait. And what I would do is I would sit out there in that deeper water, and those fish will actually come up to that spy bait. So that's a G-Fix 80 right there. And I can't remember the color on here. I think it's River something is the name of that bait, but it has a lot of flash to it. And the reason why I picked that day is because the sun was coming out. It was kind of overcast, but the sun would peek out every once in a while, and that would allow that bait to have that flash on it. And even those fish you see those ones that are sitting about 10 feet, even if the fish were in 15 to 20 feet, they would see that flash and they would come up and they would hit that bait. But the issue on the lake I was at was size. So it was a 12-inch limit on that lake. So you know how that goes, guys. Sometimes, I mean, you can get the numbers, but you just can't get that size. And then the other thing, of course, 362nd Campbell mentioned this as his second option. This is a jig. Let me just get that right there. So there you go, guys. That's a jig. That one I have it on a 3/8 ounce, and it has a baby rage crawl on there. And the reason why I went with a smaller size on that is because right now a lot of the bait fish are small. There's some real small bait fish, and I'll put a link in the actual tournament video that footage came from, and I did actually pull a one of the bait fish out of the water and held that up to the camera so you guys could actually see how small the bait fish were. And that is another reason why I was targeting the fish using that spy bait, because the spy bait is, you know, it has a smaller profile on it. All right, and let's see the next thing. Hold on just a second, guys. All right, so this right here is, I did not use this, but it is definitely an option, and that's why I wanted to show you guys. So this is just a small swim bait with a 1/4 ounce jig head on it, and the bait itself, I can't remember what size that is, but it is not a big swim bait at all, guys. And like I said, that's because I was keying in on the smaller size bait fish, and pretty much I have found that to be the case whether I'm on Gunnersville, Lake Russell, Lake Hartwell, Lake Lanier, any of those lakes right now. The bait fish on there are very small. You'll see them floating on top of the water sometimes whenever those fish are schooling and killing those fish before, you know, when they're trying to eat those fish. So you can see the smaller bait fish. All right, so the next bait, guys. This is something that we did mention in one of the prior live streams. I believe it was Jones had mentioned this bait. Not a lot of people really know the effectiveness of the riser. This is the 007. The other thing I want you guys to keep in mind is any of the baits that I've used and that I talk about, I put links to those baits in the description. So if there's any discounts or anything available on those links, it'll take you directly to the bait. So just take a look in the description, guys. That is always very important that you take a look at that. But this riser bait, this is a top water bait. And who was it that mentioned they would throw a top water bait? It was Vernon Neal, guys. He says I'd set up off the break and throw an 8XD, which would go down there and dig deep into that cover. And I'm kind of thinking that 8XD may be a little overkill for that water depth. I would throw maybe a 6XD if I was gonna throw one of those. And then let's see. Then he says, and try to pull the fish up with the top water. So this right here is a top water bait. And the other thing that you will notice about this is if you look at the size of that, it is maybe, what is that, about 3 inches, maybe, or yeah, maybe about 2 and 3 inches, something like that, guys. So it is not a big bait at all. And like I said, they were keying in on those smaller fish. I mean, I'm on those smaller bait fish. So that is definitely something that would work. And this bait, you can wake this bait across the top, depending on how you fish it. And actually, guys, I will clip a segment out of the previous live stream because I did show you guys exactly how I fished this bait out on the lake. And this is what I used to get those fish to come up. And of course, you could use a Sammy or something like that, but those baits have a lot bigger profile. And this bait sinks, it does not float. So when you cast this out there, you can't let this thing sink to the bottom because the hooks on this thing are very sticky. You will get stuck, and you don't want to break one of these off. I can't remember how much they cost, but I mean, it's at least $10. I think they could have been like a $13 or $14 bait. But for me, I would just get like that bone color and then maybe something that has a little more flash on it. So depending on what the weather is like, whether it's cloudy or overcast, and you can adjust to the different bait that you would use. All right. And then I have one more bait, but let's take a look at this. What is going on? Uncle Stu has dropped into the comment section. Really appreciate you stopping in and checking out the live stream. So yeah, he is a fellow member of the mastermind group that I work with. But yeah, appreciate you stopping in on the channel. I know you do a little fishing up there. I think you're in New York, right? But yeah, really, really appreciate it. All right, guys. So now let's take a look at the bait. And let's see, are you still awake down there in the comments? I see you guys are getting kind of slow on me down there. Does anybody have a guess? Let's see if somebody can guess what they think this last bait is. And I would say this was my number one bait for fishing that that cover and that structure and targeting those fish. What do you guys think that bait is? Let's see if anybody can drop it down in the comments real quick. If not, then I'll just go ahead and show you. But okay, all right. So Triton Jones says he's still here. He didn't fall asleep on me. All right. So what do you think? What do you guys think? What do you think this number one bait is gonna be that I'm about to pull up? All right. Is any takers? Anybody want to take a guess? All right, no guesses, no guesses. All right, so this was my shaky head, guys. And I have a video dedicated to this setup on its own. And the bait that I ended up using was just a shaky head with JJ's on there, and just had to adjust the color. Okay, I see you guys dropping in talking about the drop shot. So yeah, I mean, I would have loved to be able to catch those fish on the drop shot. It would have been so easy. I mean, I tried, but it got to the point where I knew that they weren't going to hit that drop shot. So I had to kind of put it back in the rod locker so that I would not keep trying to catch those fish on a drop shot. But no, guys, it was the shaky head. And let me just pull this back up again and show you. So where my finger is pointing at, that's where that cover and structure is. And even when the boat would move, there would be other locations that they may be a little more shallow or a little deeper. But that shaky head, I would cast it, and you see that is sitting right there on the 50-foot mark. So that was 50 feet away from the boat. So with this live imaging, with my Mega Live, I can cast this out to 70 feet. That is because I go out there and practice, guys. I practice with that. So I know that whenever I just do that backhand cast, it's going to land right at 70 feet, going to fall down. And then I just take my time and get it straight to that cover. Once it starts hitting that cover, I can feel that. And I just kind of slow down, and I'll just hold it there and shake it. And so that is how I was catching those fish. I caught some short fish with it, and I can't remember right offhand if all of my keepers came off of the shaky head. But like I said, I will put the link to that video in the description so you guys can go ahead and take a look at that. But you can always go straight to just search MoneyBass and go straight to my channel, and you'll see it was Lake Hartwell that we just finished up. And I did drop that video earlier today. So that is the video that I dropped today, guys. All right, so let me see. Is anybody else in the comments, guys? We have been running for an hour and 30 minutes, guys. So, I've had a little bit of fun with it. We have somebody else checking in. Who is this? Greetings from the Mass Bastard. All right. He is checking in. Check out the spelling of that name, guys. All right. Shaky head with what color soft plastic? All right. So he wanted to chime in and talk about the shaky head. But yes, so that is what I ended up using. One of my go-to baits. I know that whenever they bite that hook, that long shank hook that I use on my shaky head baits. Let me go ahead and take this down, guys. Hold on just a second. All right, so there we go. So yeah, I know that long shank hook that I use on that shaky head. Pretty much once they get that, bite that, and I have them on, they don't come off. Well, I say that, but if you watch the video, it did cause me a few problems, but I think those may have been some short strikes or either some smaller fish that I wasn't able to get to the boat. All right. And then Vernon Neal says, I said 8XD. Remember, I'm in Texas. Go big or go home. Uh-oh. All right. Yeah. So Vernon, I forgot about that. He's in the land of the big fish. He don't throw those little small baits that we throw out here. So yeah, that must be nice. Must be nice. Vernon, what is your PB? What's the biggest fish that you've caught out there in Texas, and what lake was it? All right. And then we have Triton Jones says, Kitech on football head is money, 4-inch. So let me see. Yeah. So I think mine is this, whatever size is smaller than that 4-inch is probably the one that I have on there. And like I said, the reason why I was trying to go as small as I could, because those bait fish were very, very small, and they were schooling on those fish. There's some great footage of those fish schooling too, guys. So like I said, I'll put the link down in the comments. I mean, in the description, so you guys can take a look at that, or you can just go to the channel and look up the Lake Hartwell tournament. You might as well watch day 1, but on day 2, there's some schooling going on in there. And I mean, it looks good, guys. Looks good. All right. So let's see. We have Thomas says you can let that shaky head sit and shake around just enough that it has to be eaten. Burning past a fish can be the wrong thing. Right, exactly. So yeah, so that's basically what the plan was. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, when I was throwing that spy bait, the cadence that I use on that is extremely slow in most cases. But since these fish were chasing those bait fish, what I ended up finding out is that I had to speed up that cadence on that bait, and that is what ended up triggering those bites for me. But the thing that I should have been on, guys, was that crankbait. Should have been on that crankbait, guys. That would have made a little bit of a difference for me. But I still got that what was a 4th place finish on it. So hey, it was still a good day out there on the lake. All right, Uncle Stu says I'm in VA, but I'm born and raised in New York. I do deep sea fishing, like blues and what is that? Porgies? I don't know about that deep sea fishing too much, but I mean, I did used to go out on a party boat and we would catch sea bass, some red snapper, things like that. But that's been a while. Once I started bass fishing, man, it's been hard for me to get back out there deep sea fishing. But yeah, I mean, we definitely had some fun out there on the deep sea. Good deal. Good deal. All right. Thomas says very nice. Triton says good day. All right. And he says a 10-8 pounder on a Texas rig black and blue worm on a 50-acre lake. Wow. Okay, man, that 10-8. I wouldn't mind catching one of those. I mean, my PB right now is 8. What is it? 8 pounds, 7 ounces. So, and that was on Lake Chickamauga. So, hey, I wouldn't mind hooking into one of those 10s one of these days. All right, guys. I hope this has been very informative and you guys have liked the content. Please make sure if you are in here, how are my likes looking, guys? It really does help the channel whenever you guys click the like button. Let me just take a look. Has everybody in here hit that like button for me, guys, on the way out? And let me just take a look. Let me take a look and see how we're looking over here, guys. All right. And did anybody have any more questions, comments, or anything on the topic? Yeah, so like I said, guys, we get together, we have some fun with it. It's not to be negative about anything. It's just to share ideas where people can come voice their opinions. I mean, it's not like we're going back and forth at each other. I mean, it's all in fun, all in learning, all in sharing ideas to help everybody get better out there on the water. And, you know, just enjoy things, guys. That's what it's all about. Everybody get Let me just pause that real quick. Okay, there we go. All right, guys. So, yeah, likes are looking good. Really, really appreciate it. All right, guys. Also, if you are not a member of the channel, please consider joining the channel. It really does help out. Every little bit helps as far as supporting the channel, being able to get more content out to you guys. But the join link is located right below the video. If you click on that, it will give you some information so that you will know the perks and things like that that you get, which is one of the things is going to be you'll get a badge whenever you're in the comment section. So whenever we're doing live streams where it may be a hot topic or something like that, and I can't keep up with the comments, but my members' comments, those do stand out, and I will be able to give you guys priority. So that's just one of the things. And also just a way to, you know, show a little support for the channel by joining the money team. So just hit that join button down there, guys. You know, just give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. All right, guys, really appreciate it. It is sitting at about a little over an hour and a half, guys. So I will see you guys on the next live stream. And also, let me put my my Instagram down here. If you guys have any topics or anything like that, if you notice any hot topics or any specific things that you want to talk about in the live stream, just hit me up on my Instagram. Let me know about it, and I can, you know, kind of get some things together, and then I can bring it up during the next live stream. All right, guys, really, really appreciate you supporting the channel and tuning in. I will see you guys on the next video.